What's up guys, Ben here bringing you another video today. We're going to talk a little bit about Rostermania. It's been a bit slow this week, so let's talk about what's holding things up and a couple of interesting developments over the last 24 to 48 hours in the background. Let's dive in. All right, so basically kind of the first piece of things is they're waiting for teams to sort of announce their full roster. The second piece is potential coach movement. So they're all kind of tied together. We're going to break them down both through this video as we talk about the 5 or 6 teams that we're still kind of waiting on to sort of solidify things. So let's go team by team. For Thieves and OpTic, 4 players are locked. I think the Thieves situation is just a sub, but that may come later in the fall. For OpTic, also looking for a sub, but also clarity on the analyst role. It looks like Troy Sender is kind of potentially moving on from OpTic. Obviously, they've been linked to JP. Rambo said on his stream that they've also been looking to sign analysts, so that's sort of where that connection's coming from. But those are 2 slow burn situations, and I don't think either of them are kind of rushing to get a sub, but I think we'll get an answer on the OpTic coaching situation definitely before the game comes out. Seattle's an interesting one. They haven't like fully announced, hey, the roster's coming back, but the roster's coming back. There is a question of who's going to coach this team. I've heard rumors that Sam Phoenix might be going elsewhere. I know Crone at the bottom of this article has listed that as well. No 100% confirm yet, but we'll get to the Marky B news sort of later in this. I do think it seems like there's a little bit of a coach carousel going on here. LAG, another one with the coach carousel. The rumors that I've heard are obviously they have a completely open coaching staff, and if Marky B's looking for a job, my guess is based on the prestige of coaches that are out there, potential opportunities, he's likely the front runner on the LAG list. So we'll curious to see sort of if anything kind of happens there if Mark's moving on from Toronto. Atlanta FaZe. So this one's interesting, right? Players locked. They already announced Slasher. But the question right now is Chris Crowder, aka Replays, going to go ahead and run it back with this team as a coach? It all started with a couple of days ago when Crowder was screaming, and he talked about quickly on stream while he was about to go up to the bathroom whether or not he's coaching the team, and he said no. So that set off a firestorm. I then checked in with the team, and it didn't seem like he had told anyone whether or not he was staying or going. And the last couple of days, the team has kind of taken a little bit of banter on Twitter. Here's a conversation between FaZe Crowder and AEV Paul. If you don't know who AEV Paul is, well, co-owner and president and CEO of Atlanta Sports Ventures, a parent organization of Atlanta Reign and Atlanta FaZe. Based on this conversation, and then this one this morning, I think what's probably happened here, I don't know if Crowder's going to return as the head coach, but I do think he'll be back in some coaching capacity. I just don't know if it's going to be as full-time as it was before, but my expectation is still going to be around and helping out with the team. All right, so let's talk about Toronto. So there's 2 different things here. There's the Marky B situation and finalizing the roster. So finalizing the roster, it looks like right now they're going to be bringing in Standy to go ahead and close up the lineup. If that means Hixley's sort of on the bench, I think we'll have to see. But this is based on some of the bait that Standy's been throwing around on Twitter, as well as a deleted tweet from a couple of days ago where he tweeted a DuckTales gif talking about contracts. A little bit of an interesting choice on him, but it seems like either he's baiting or they're entertaining about the rumors that I've heard is that they're definitely looking at him, if not already signed him. And then talking about the Marky B side of it. So Marky B tweeted this actually minutes before I started recording this video. I've heard a couple of different names potentially linked now to Toronto Ultra and Marky B's moving over. The one that's come up the most I've heard around the league talking to people is Sam Phoenix, who was previously coaching the Seattle Surge. Would be an interesting combination, and I like Sam as a coach. So we'll see kind of where Toronto goes, but it seems like the culture of this team is shifting quite a bit. I think the other piece for Toronto I'm looking towards, and this is not really going to get resolved probably till closer to game launch, if not after game launch, is are they going to be able to get Insight and Kleenex to sign new deals, maybe lock those guys down for a couple of more years. You could maybe make the argument for them that they maybe shouldn't sign that. They should wait because both of them are nasty players and are probably going to get, if not bigger deals in the offseason. So let's see what happens with this Toronto team, but I think the next kind of dominoes are they signing Standy? Is Hixley going to be on the bench? And who's going to be coaching this team? We're still waiting on a Boston announce right here, but it's really on announcing Big Wake and announcing Beans. They've already kind of covered the Zinni piece of it, so we're just waiting on that stuff. I think that's probably coming in the next couple of days, if not a few weeks. All right, another kind of slow burn situation is the New York Subliners situation right here. From everything I've heard, it seems like it's sort of a team of 3 looking for one, and they've been talking to a bunch of different people. But Preset tweeted this a couple of days ago, which is making me think they're getting close to sort of locking him in. So it seems like this is sort of a solidified squad and might be having announced here coming in the next couple of weeks. Coach of this team, I think, is still a massive question mark. I think kind of based on the D-Real stuff that we saw on the flank a couple of weeks ago, it seems like there's still some flux here. Kind of an open question who's coaching the team, but I've heard a couple of different names, and I won't be surprised if Sender from OpTic kind of ends up in the spot. I could also see maybe Parasite coming in, but it's still kind of an open question who they're going to bring in to coach the team. So now we're getting to more of some of the incomplete situations. I haven't heard much of an update on the Florida situation. They're still kind of thinking and taking their sweet time. I think if I had to figure out where they're leaning, and maybe more towards the Havoc and Brack kind of combo, maybe I'm bringing too much into it, but they were baiting kind of Havoc on the timeline earlier. But again, this one can change quickly, and London's kind of tied the same boat, right? right? Because if Nasty and Gizmo aren't going to Florida, then London's roster changes. So these two are tied to hip, but I don't really think they're in a rush to sort of make decisions. I was hoping by now there'd be some clarity around here, but it really seems like they're taking their sweet time. So hoping we get more updates on here sort of later on next week. And then nothing new on the Vegas situation. I know Donnie's been on stream and talking about he's hit up a bunch of people, but Vegas has shown in their Paris kind of version that they will take pretty much until the end of September, if not the beginning of October, to figure out what they want. I'm gonna do a whole nother video on this, like a what would you do if you're a Vegas situation. I think like the interesting storyline is sort of what happens with Clay and Krim. Do they go to this team? The way the two of them have been tweeting, especially this tweet from Clayster yesterday, is making me think that maybe they sort of evaluate this option. Either they didn't want to go on this route because they couldn't get the salary they wanted, or Vegas is not interested. But I gotta make a whole video about the Vegas situation because I think we gotta do a little bit of a roster build exercise. And that's really it, guys. I mean, Rostermania is just incredibly slow right now. So guys, respond in the comments on sort of questions that you have about Rostermania. I'll do a whole like mailbag kind of respond to comments video. I'm obviously going to do that Vegas sort of build a roster video. As we get any news, I'll make more content. But right now we're just sort of waiting on people to make decisions. I think to be fair, sort of normal business, not esports, right? This is the time of the season. Some of these like executives for higher ups might be kind of taking their sweet time because they're chilling on the beach somewhere. So I'm hoping we get more clarity next week or two and teams start to kind of announce their stuff. We're waiting on like 5 or 6 teams here. We already kind of have half the league, but we need those other teams start getting their announcements out so we can start talking about these rosters and really doing our final rankings on them. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like if you love this video, obviously subscribe if you like my content. I've been pumping out a lot of content on Rostermania stuff, and we're going to be doing some more think piece stuff next couple of days. I think I'm going to do like a challengers piece, like what can we improve with challengers, talk a little bit about how I would do pro-am and what I might want to switch up. We're going to kind of look at that content, I think, early on in September, sort of really start some of these conversations. And that's it, guys. As always, we'll see you on the next one.